Hey, you guys, and welcome to my channel. In society, we tend to think that emotional wounds are invisible because it's not typically like a scratch that we can see or a broken bone. And that's, that old saying that people used to say, oh, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Boy, isn't that one of the biggest lies ever? Wow. It's like devastatingly false. And, I'm going to go out on a limb to say that actually the words have hurt mankind as a whole a lot more than sticks and stones. Okay? Because a lot of times, by the time the person has gotten to those sticks and stones that they are throwing at other people, it is because the words have already gotten to them. You see what I'm saying? Those words came first and intercepted that person. And eventually, it led to that physical behavior. So emotional wounds aren't so invisible once we're looking at it from that angle right there, because those emotional wounds, they're going to display themselves through our behaviors, okay? And that's why today we're going to talk about shame. We're going to talk about shame. I really don't feel like the community, especially for narcissistic abuse, we don't talk about this enough. We really don't talk about it. And the narcissist is carrying a tremendous amount of shame, But guess what? That codependent, well, they're both codependents, but I'm going to call the other side codependent because they're not narcissists. All right. They don't have that variable. So we'll just define it that way. That non-narcissistic person, the other side to the relationship, that toxic empath, whatever you want to put there. That other person that's dwelling with the narcissist, they're carrying shame as well. All right. So I find it very important to, make one video at least here where we're just going to just talk about shame. All right. So if we look at the word shame, there's two words in there, minimally, of course. All right. This isn't a game. We're not going to take this 5-letter word and how many words can we find? No, but there's two important words that I want to point out in the word shame without even having to scramble the letters or anything. They're just blatantly right there for us to see. And that's sham and me. Sham and me. When you are in the energy of shame, you're shamming yourself. Okay? And what's a sham for those of you who may not know what that word means? A sham is when something is falsely represented as something as the truth. Okay? It's false representation. It's a thing that is not what it is said to be. And then the me is the self, of course, the you, and supposedly the individual, right? But are we truly operating out of individuality when we're in the energy of shame? Because what is an individual? An individual is free to be who they are, right? If we're all individuals, then, you're this way and I'm that way. But shame, it's a culprit of the human condition, or basically the human state. And like I'm saying, it's at the foundation of these narcissistic relationships. And it is stemming from how we were socialized as a child. because a shamed child, it becomes a shamed adult. So both the narcissist and that other person, you guys were shamed as children. And a lot of people confuse shame and guilt. And, they're not the same thing, guys. You feel guilty about something. It's like, oh, I felt guilty for something that I've done, right? But shame is a lot more deeper, guys. And that's why I said the human condition, because the focus is on self. And it's like, something is wrong with me. I feel bad for being me. I feel bad for being me. And people don't give what they don't have. So the narcissist, they feel bad for being themselves. They're making you feel bad for being you. I mean, they're not giving you any more than they're giving themselves. Now, as the other side of it is the self-loathing and feeling this despair and always thinking something is wrong with you. And that's why survivors, they come get coaching with me. I'm reading the comments on my channel. It's so much self-blame there. Because both sides have been embedded in them from a very early age that something is wrong with you. But it just plays out in the behaviors differently. But shame, we have to address it because it's certainly, is a toxic and yet significant influence when we're talking about, okay, how was my energy able to connect with this narcissist? Or, what is at the root of this narcissist? Shame. Shame, guys. Shame. So, at the root, it's really not being able to separate what I've done versus who and what I am. And perhaps, the early caregivers weren't even doing that for you. And, they were training you to be shame-filled. And that is learned and something that you've carried with you. And because you didn't have that healing now, of course, you're finding yourself in more situations to perpetuate the energy, that you're holding, which is that something is wrong with you. So if something is wrong with you, you'll get with other people that will help you continue to feel that way. You'll get and stay with them because it'll feel natural. It'll feel right. And that goes for both sides. Okay? That goes for both sides. And then you might be like, well, why did the narcissist leave then? And I made a video yesterday, 15 reasons why. But yeah, if you tried to change that, you tried to make a shift, you tried to get them out of that energy, right? You try to make them accountable. You try to give them self-awareness. They're not looking for that type of stuff. That's not what's fueling them. That actually, to them, is bringing them back to the low vibration of their shame that they're trying to escape, that they're running from. And that's why I made another video titled, They're Runners. They're constantly running from themselves. All right. So yeah, if the narcissist is feeling shamed, is it miraculous that they're going to create a mask to wear? If you feel like something is wrong with you, would you want to present yourself? Not in a narcissistic mind, you wouldn't. And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're codependent and you're thinking you're defective, I'm a mistake, I deserve less than, would you be more probable to tolerate the abuse of the narcissist? And those are that's one of the severe consequences, tolerating the abuse of having shame, because pulling your self-esteem down. Okay. And then on a narcissist, their consequences are no one gets close to the real me. I'll make sure that I push them away. So they're not getting the real intimacy. They're not really opening their heart up to receive love. They're, carrying a bunch of secrets. And then both sides open themselves up to addictive behaviors because they're pushing at trying to escape this shame. What am I going to fill the void with? How can I get myself out of this shameful feeling? What can I do? That's where the addictive behaviors become in. But, we have to expand our addiction, our thoughts of addictions. We have to open that up to being addicted to relationships as well, because that's two of the things that they also have in common there. Being addicted to relationships. So, what is being falsely presented in your mind with the shame that you need to address and reconsider your thoughts on those things and where are they stemming from? And what is the logic versus the emotional causes it's having on you? When we're talking about the shame, we're talking about social values that were embedded in us at a young age, what's acceptable and what's not, what's reasonable and unreasonable, as we're evaluating this, we need to figure out, what's fair and what's unfair. What do we need to keep and what do we need to drop? What do we need to edit? What do we need to alter? Because shame is basically, like a running theme of disapproval. So what are our standards? Our standards, not their standards, not what society says. What are our standards? A lot of times, especially for the survivors, they're learning how to isolate voices. The toxic things that the narcissist was saying, other people who were in resistance to them and their essence. And they had to learn how to separate whose voices are these and how much weight and authority should I be giving them, which is none. So then, it opens up a cycle of us evaluating or reevaluating basically what our standards are, what's fair and unfair, what's reasonable versus unreasonable, what I need to keep or drop, what I need to edit or alter, what's right versus wrong in our social values. And that's building our core beliefs. And we have to find some approval. We have to find approval and compassion. So if you're a person that's struggling with shame, you need to find some approval somewhere. You need to have some compassion for yourself. You need to embrace imperfections and let go of perfectionism. You need to be able to see the other people who may have originally planted this shame in you and groomed you for this, that they were operating out of their shadow side and their dysfunction. We have to step out of that resistance because, some of us in our 30s and 40s, like we've been in this shame all of our lives and we've perpetuated it. And then we've attracted more experiences that allow us to dwell in this. But those experiences was also allowing us to be able to see it and not to dwell, but to intercept it. Because we're replaying it as an opportunity to do what? Continue the path, or to finally acknowledge it and intercept the path. So are you having reasonable expectations of yourself and others even? But for the sake of shame, which is very self-focused, let's just stay there with the self. All right. And some of you are going to have to reconsider your social values, and this is the stuff that, was embedded in us early on. You are going to have to make an edit now because it's not serving you and it's leading you back to shame. It's leading you back to shame. All right. And this plays out in so many instances in people's lives. But increasing our emotional maturity gives us the possibility, to be able to not only minimize it, but move away from the shame and work our way from under it. All right, guys? So, rather than seeking to escape the shame, let's just get rid of it from a healthy standpoint and not with further toxicity, which inevitably perpetuates the shame. Okay? If you need help doing this, I do offer one-on-one coaching, guys, and we can uncover this like an onion and get all the way down to the nucleus and really get to the bottom of this so that you can really have this shift in your life and really purely be the individual. You are not sentenced to a life of shame, and whatever you're feeling embarrassed about, we can work on those perceptions and give you the healthier perceptions to shift your mentality so that now your thoughts are in alignment that will take you out of the shame. And we let those thoughts seep down into your subconscious. So now you're going to be vibrating out of shame in your subconscious. Then it'll be vibrating there in your conscious. And what the body follows the mind. And now your behaviors are in alignment as well. And voila, the shame is gone. The shame is gone because you've done the work. All right. So definitely, visit my site, LakiaCrawford.com, and schedule your appointment and we can work through this. If you want an appointment that's not available there, just email Coach Lakia and we'll work it out from there. All right. With that being said, I do run a support group, guys, over on Facebook for survivors of narcissistic abuse. It never hurts to expand your support system. You are deserving of that. Shame will keep you isolated and make you unworthy and less than. Okay? And with that being said, guys, you can find out about all different other kinds of products on my website, therapeutic books that help lift the self-worth, the self-value, the self-esteem, help you with your shadow work, help you understand these toxic relationships, all right, on a fundamental, profound level. I have no narc merchandise as well on the website. Cute t-shirts and hats, coffee mugs, mouse pads, bumper stickers. Make your statement against narcissistic abuse and have fun with your fashion, guys. All right. With that being said, repetition is our friend as well. Start telling yourself good things. All right. Magnify the wonderful things. Stay close to gratitude, guys. Because shame is definitely, can put you in something what I call tunnel vision a lot on this channel. We focus on that thing and it grows and it grows, and then it's all we can see. And the shame is growing with it. All right. And that's what makes it even more toxic. So we start adding a lot more light to that picture. We start being grateful and seeing what is going right. We start seeing the cup minimally halfway full, minimally. Okay. And watch out when you see the cup overflowing. You got there now. You are there when you see that. All right. So, things can get better, but you have to be willing to step out of resistance, or you need to know what you should be resisting. Okay. Step out of resistance, to resist that toxicity, but not resisting your deliverance, basically. All right. So I'm going to stop there. Great ways to support the channel, of course, is to always like and comment. All right, make sure you guys revisit the bell. A lot of people have been telling me that they're not getting notifications. There's 3 different options on the bell section for the subscribers of any channel now. I believe you hit that first bell, it gives you all the notifications of my uploads, and that's what you want. All right. All right, guys, thank you for all the love and support that you show this channel. And what do I say at the end of all of my videos? Never, ever give up on yourself, guys. Never, ever give up on yourself. Stop putting yourself last, or put yourself on the list, on the top of the list, okay? You have to do that and keep doing the work. Nobody knows it all. The point of life is to grow and to thrive. It doesn't have to be this miserable place with lack and minimization, okay? There can be abundance and possibilities, happy and joy. Like all of that is there. All right? So we're never going to give up on ourselves, and we're going to continue to do the work. And until next time, definitely take care and stay blessed.